This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of their affiliated organizations.
All right, so today we are talking about divine signs. But first, I want to ask, did you have any spiritual experiences? Because the whole way here, I kept hearing, Ryan needs to tell me something. So maybe it's not a divine thing. Maybe it's, you just need to tell me something. I don't know.
I don't know.
We haven't talked, so.
Yeah. Well, I think I was gonna ask you about the bird photo that you sent me, but
Yeah.
but we could talk about that afterwards.
Which bird photo did I send you? I've taken like a ton of bird photos the last couple of days.
The one
blue
by
one,
the
right?
water.
The
yeah,
blue
yeah, yeah.
heron?
Yeah.
That was
So,
incredible.
But spiritual experiences, I did try, and maybe we should put out there that we're not sponsoring any apps or anything, but that I did try Ghost Tube again at home, and I was okay. So here's the backstory. So I'm trying to find this poster that I gave to our grandmother. One of our things was The Wizard of Oz. And so that was just a connection that we had. I took her to go see it when it was in theaters for like the 75th anniversary, and it was so cool just to see it on the big screen. And so later on, I got her a poster, and I've been trying to find it in the house. And so I was using GhostTube to ask spirits, where could it be in the house? Because it was on the wall, and then it got moved. So I asked.
It broke.
I could see that.
Immediately,
What
the frame.
did GhostTube tell you? Anything?
It told me it was not in the basement, which I can agree because I have gone through that basement and looked. And then it didn't tell me anything else as to. It was just giving me random things. Okay. So yeah,
not very helpful.
Yeah, not very helpful. I was asking, is it in a living room? Is it because it was taken down from the wall. Something else is now in its place. It was put down in the basement. I know that, but then when I went to go look for it, it was no longer there. And
is there a
take it,
maybe? Perhaps. Yeah.
Is there an attic where you have to pull the stairs down, or you have to climb up into it like a crawl space? I don't know if it's a garage or a house.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, in the house.
I feel your grandmother was sentimental towards it, so she threw the frame out. But I feel like the poster is folded in a rectangle, and it's in a spot where you have to climb a ladder. You have to go into a small crawl space, like above a garage or an attic, or
I could
like an old cape that would have had like the attic space in the points.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it folded?
I do. I feel like or rolled. I don't know. It feels very flat. I don't.
Yeah. It was flat in the frame, but
yeah. I feel like it's in this dusty old box way in the corner.
I could see that. Yes.
She didn't throw it out. She wouldn't throw it out because she was very sentimental about anything that her children or grandchildren or great grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
She was very mindful of that. I also can almost see it folded up into like an old photo album, but it's not. It's just tucked in there, like a notebook. You just tuck something in there, but it feels like a old photo album.
Yeah,
because everything looks yellow and everybody's got the plaid pants on from like the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah. So it could be in something like that, or the box has like some replica stuff of 70s or something. I
could see that too.
It's definitely. Did she have a garage? Because they keep wanting saying it's in a.
I mean, they had a barn, so that could have the attic space there. Yeah. I mean, we used to, as kids, we used to play in that barn and play in the attic. So yeah, it could be up there.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure. It feels like it was closer to her than, just throw it out in the barn. I don't know.
But they do have an attic space in the house as well.
And you feel it rolled up, huh?
I feel it was rolled.
Do you feel it in a dusty box?
Cause not in a box. I feel it rolled. I don't know where it is, but I just feel it was rolled. I think it was not to crease it.
Anyway.
Yeah. So when I When I go searching for it eventually, I'll let you know.
Yeah, try. Yeah, that would be cool.
But thank you for the ideas because I didn't even think of there are boxes.
I just feel like when she was showing me the picture, like I wanted to go because there was so much dust flying around, and like, and then you just can't clear it, so you'll need a secrets. No,
exactly.
How about you, Lisa? Any spiritual experience this weekend?
No, but I had a great weekend. I mean,
you
want to hear what I did this weekend?
Sure.
Yeah, I had a great time with family. I got to see my cousin, who I don't see very often at all. I have one first cousin. Well, I have three, but I only see one. Or I've only really known one. And he lives in Georgia with his family, but he was up with his wife and his daughter and his grandson, and came also up with his aunt. So my great aunt, well, not my Aunt Anita, my cousin Robin, his wife Marilyn Jean, Siobhan, and Aiden all came up, and we were at my brother's house, and I was with some of my favorite people in my family this weekend, and had a great time reconnecting. I haven't seen them. They live down in Georgia. Haven't seen them in a couple of years. We had been going down to see Aunt Anita. She lives on Long Island. We've been making trek down there once a year to see her and my Uncle Norman, but her brother, my Uncle Norman, passed, and so now it's just Aunt Anita, and God bless, she's amazing. And we played games. Ever play the game Worst Case Scenario?
No.
Oh my God, it's so much fun. So I made
my
Aunt Anita play with me, be on my team. And it's the most ridiculous game where you get these different scenarios and you're supposed to rate them from bad to worst. And she's just like, these are all awful. And I'm like, I know, but what's the worst thing? And her idea as a, elderly woman and of what is worse, and then my niece who's 15 playing, and her idea of what's worse are very different. So one of the things was never see your family again. So we're like, that would be one of the worst things.
That was awful.
And my niece is just like, it's bad, but it's not as bad as something else. Like, okay. Okay. Just very interesting. So I had a great time. I mean, how was your weekend?
I had a cool experience.
Oh.
It was Saturday evening. We're out on the patio, we're having cocktails and whatever, and we're just sitting there talking, and it was a pretty deep conversation about philosophical stuff and just the way the world looks at certain things and how we look at certain things. And right in the middle of that, I froze. I was like, did you hear that? And everybody's looking at me like, what are you talking about? So it was about 12:30, 1:45 in the morning. So I heard a rooster crow.
Oh, wow.
Roosters don't crow generally in the dark unless they're feeling maybe threatened, but there was no need. Where I know the roosters are, there wasn't any threat. So I heard this in my spiritual ear. It was a rooster. So I looked it up. It's all about protection. It's all about new adventures and, being protective of the ones that are around you and kind of finding your path and the dawning of the day and the farmer's kind of style of when the rooster crows, your day begins. So it was really cool. It came out of nowhere and everybody knew I heard something because I make a face, right? And I was kind of glazed over and looking around and I was like, did you hear that? And everybody, of course, was like, no. So it was pretty cool to have the rooster show up in the middle of the night and let me know that there's a protection around, and that things are okay. So that was cool. That was my spiritual experience this weekend.
How was your weekend? Cool. What did you do this weekend?
This weekend, I didn't do too much, in all honesty. Trying to think of what I even did. Went for more walks with the dog. But I was taking more photos a continuation of last time with the birds. So the nestlings, now they're becoming fledglings, and so I have photos of them now literally sticking their whole head and neck out of the birdhouse, and they're just getting ready. And at first I was like, Oh, okay. Is that a fledgling or going to be a fledgling, or is it one of the adults? Because they have their feathers now and everything. And but then the parent came and fed it, and I was like, okay, it's still there. So that's pretty cool.
I saw something on Instagram and I sent it to you. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
it, but
I'll
it
have
made
to
me
see
think
it.
of you. This gentleman, I don't know where he was, but all of a sudden a bird landed right here and
Oh,
didn't
wow.
leave and was just like, was in love with this gentleman. And his wife was filming this. She goes, "What are you gonna do?" And he goes, "I don't know. I guess I'm a bird daddy now. I don't. I feel like I'm Snow White. I'm, kind of
Yeah.
thing." It was just like, it was the cutest thing. And I said, that is Ryan. He's got to have a bird land on him and be
Yes.
bird daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I bet it will be.
You got to get a little bowl and tape it with bird seed in it so they come tape it to your shoulder.
Yeah, there's an account I follow of a woman who she was experimenting one time to try to get closer to the birds, so she was like taping like a paper plate to like a hat or something. I don't know what she was doing. She made some type of contraption, and the birds would come in and like land right there, and I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
Well, have you seen those things for hummingbirds, right?
Yeah.
These people that kind of like camouflage themselves and they have like rings that have the hummingbird food in it and the hats, and they just sit there still and all the hummingbirds come and feed off their hats, their rings, everything. They just sit super still. I'm like, and they're all covered. I'm like, man, that's just patience.
Yes.
And a lot of poop.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
But it's interesting. We're talking to birds. So today,
Yes.
we're going to talk about some of the more common signs that spirit is with you, and
Correct.
we're going to talk about the more common things being feathers and coins and birds and butterflies and
Yeah, you're mentioning all of them.
electronic equipment.
Yep, and numbers.
And numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers.
So,
Yep.
Those are the ones.
We're talking about birds, so why don't we start there? I mean,
Sure.
a lot of times when spirits pass on, we get messaging or people say, I keep getting this bird that keeps appearing at my window or tapping at the window or always there on my car when I leave. Or my daughter experienced once a bird following her as she walked to classes.
Oh, wow.
In college, just would follow along. And I'm like, that's your grandpa. He's telling me he's following you. Make sure you get to your class safely.
That's cool.
I mean, I think some of the more common birds that are used are cardinals and
Blue jays. When my grandmother passed, it was incredible. There was a hawk that was sitting in the pine tree at the top of my driveway, and it did not leave.
Wow.
And it was very clear that this was like her.
Mm-hmm.
It was the morning of her funeral as well, so it was like very prevalent. Like, we have hawks in the area because I live, by a lake, but like this hawk was on the open branch in full view, and it stayed there. And when we pulled out of the driveway, it stayed there. It wasn't there when we got back, but it's very clear that was a very much her showing her presence.
Wow.
And then there have been certain things in your life that might have been, something to kind of go through a trial or whatever, and the hawk will show up at those times, either at your place or sometimes it shows the hawk will sit on a branch outside my window and I'll see it, and then I'll get the impression of her grandmother, and then I'll know I need to call Heather, something's happening.
Yep, and the hawk appeared after my spine surgery.
Oh, wow.
So, like, we've really put that association of that bird, a hawk, with her, which is cool. It's cool. Not just her meatballs, I got a hawk image of her, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's
we
awesome.
often say birds can be a sign that some spirit is trying to contact you. Whether they come, blue jays tend to be more of spiritual energy that was very talkative or very advice-giving. Ones that would yabber on kind of thing. Maybe even very, I don't want to say manipulative, but, the one that is always strong in presence, because blue jays, in essence, they're, as a bird, they're known as like the bully bird, right? They come and they take control of things. I even saw where a blue jay will mimic the sound of a hawk just to be, excuse my French, jerk, right?
Yes.
To put the fear of God into other birds, scream the hawk scream. I saw a video of that. I'm like, oh my God. And I see the blue jays at my own bird feeder and the way they kind of like run the roost. So a lot of times, energy that is passed that is very advice giving, talkative, bossy will come as a blue jay. Cardinals tend to be more those loving energies of
grandfathers,
or
the
your
male
partner or your partner who might
yeah.
have passed show up. Sometimes the bluebirds come too in that regard. Crows tend to be more protective, I feel. But yeah, so we get those, and hawks tend to be more watchful.
And if you have a moment where I don't believe in coincidences, but that's my own opinion. And there's so many times where there will be a bird that just flies by. That doesn't mean anything, but when that bird or animal captures your eye, I think you should look up the spiritual meaning of what that animal is, because I think there's a message there, because it's not a coincidence that animal chose to be in your path at that very moment so that you would pause, right? I think we're such an instantaneous society. Sometimes nature helps us and spirit reminds us to like take a moment. So
another bird that is indicative of spirits with you is that of a dove. And doves tend to show up either in readings, given spiritually in readings, or to people when someone who has recently passed, to give a signal that they are now safely crossed.
When my stepfather passed, there was, and we don't generally get white doves in Connecticut. I mean, I'm sure there are, but we don't generally get them. We have pigeons.
Right.
But when my stepfather passed, the morning after, there was a white dove in my mother's yard. And then like 2 weeks later, I was in Massachusetts and the white dove was on the line. Now I can't say it was the same dove, but it's still that symbology. And you know, it clearly correlates. You know, it just didn't show. White doves again don't really show up in Connecticut and Mass, so it's quite interesting. And you knew immediately, like, oh, that's so and so.
Now you're a bird watcher, so have you noticed any different behaviors with birds around? I mean, you've had loss in your family, or
yeah, I'd say, in all honesty, after our grandfather passed, it's interesting that you mentioned this. The male red cardinal was popping up more, and then also the female cardinal came back as well. So you know that. I know that our grandparents are together again, and I just found that interesting that after he passed, that's when they showed up again, because they took a break. They weren't around for a while, and then they started coming back to the feeder.
Nice.
So I saw that as a sign that okay, I like this. That they're
staying
together.
In the animal realm. We can talk about butterflies.
Sure,
butterflies definitely come through it as a form of to let you know that things are transforming. I know that when my grandmother passed, my daughter everybody was distraught. And, you know, in her throes of grief, she just wanted to have a connection to her grandmother. And my mom told me, just look for the butterfly. And when she was with me, butterflies were all around. And so butterfly now for her and for me is a symbol that my mother is, you know, showing her presence, you know. I don't know if that's ever been an experience for you, but
I was just kind of running through like
dragonflies, maybe.
Dragonflies
are another insect that shows up, and we have a story of a dragonfly. If you want to share, Emma, your story.
Oh, we can move a microphone.
Come on over.
Yeah.
We gotta sit. What? Don't you need to sit? Thank you, Owen. Come on.
We have our first official guest.
All right.
Like on camera and everything, other than Gregory.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I think it was last week.
Yes.
I applied for an academic program that it was diverging from my initial plan, because I pretty much had the exact plan throughout all of college, and then my brother had mentioned a different path to me, and I was like, I might as well look into it. So I was like, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to apply for it. And that same day, I was leaving like a Barnes & Noble parking lot, and there were two or three dragonflies like circling my car.
Oh, yeah.
And like circling, and they just wouldn't go away. I'm like, okay. And then I drove down the road a little bit closer to like maybe 10 minutes down the road, and then another one just like flew to my windshield and like just floated in front of my windshield for a little bit. Wow. And like stared at me, and I'm like, okay, weird. That's okay, someone's trying to say something to me. And so then I asked like all my family members, I'm like, what does that mean? And then I came into the podcast like, what do we know about dragonflies?
Wait, let's ask them while we're here. What do you think?
Yeah,
So what were you told?
That the way they move, it's like they have to take 2 steps back to then get on the right path. Is that right? Okay. So then I was like, this program is going to take a semester longer than the initial plan would have taken. So I'm like, I am taking 2 steps back to get on this path. So I was like, oh, the dragonflies are telling me that is that was the right call to make.
Like an affirmation for you.
Yeah. And then actually 2 days later, I got into the program.
Oh,
I don't know if I...
Congrats.
But
so
dragonflies are also about renewal and resourcefulness and moving forward, but always being mindful of where we came from, and like those are all things that you have to put into going forward, right? Just where I'm coming from, where I'm going, the renewal of revamping what you're going to do as a profession, right? So what a great omen sign.
Yeah.
So you should always be on the lookout for when you're in a crossroads maybe in your life, or have questions. So any of our listeners or viewers out there, you know, when you see things like butterflies show up a lot and you're considering something that might transform your day or whatever, or in the case of Emma and the dragonflies, an affirmation.
Or when a rooster crows at 1 o'clock in the morning.
There you go. You know, any of those things,
exactly.
You know, you can look them up. You know, we'll Google spiritual meaning of, or
yes.
Because I don't always have a book on me, you know, like
I don't have it all memorized.
I don't have it all memorized. It's kind of like the stone thing. Like I don't memorize what every meaning of each stone is, and it's same with animals. So like there's a great resource on the internet where you can just Google the spiritual meaning, and you'll get several different listings of what that is. And we always say whichever one resonates the most is what you're supposed to hear.
Yeah.
Because there was another description of the rooster, and I was like, oh no, that has nothing to do with me. Like it didn't even make sense. But then you scroll down a little bit more, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So
So the birds, the butterflies, dragonflies are probably the more common animals, but there are times where you'll be out, animals in nature, they do give us messages. If we're driving home, let's say, and I drove today, so I'll need to bring Heather back. Let's say we're going down and we get on a road, and let's say there's 2 turtles crossing the road. Never are there turtles crossing her road. So we would take notice of the fact that there's turtles in the road. Turtles are showing up for a reason. Let me look up the messaging about that. Or if we pull into, if I pull into my my house and there's a deer right in my front yard. Now, granted, I do live on Deer Hill Lane, but a deer in the middle of the day in the front of my yard doesn't typically happen. They're more in the woods. I would take note of that, if it's just out of place a little bit.
I was out kayaking on Bolton Lake the other day, and this turtle had a piece of fish in its mouth. Oh, wow. So I didn't even take it as a spiritual sign, but it was cool. This giant turtle had this giant piece of meat in his mouth, and he's swimming along next to my kayak. I was like, hey, buddy. Nothing spiritual going on there. He was like, I'm hungry. Leave me alone. Trying to get to shore.
Not everything is a spiritual sign. Not everything's...
But it was cool because he was like right next to me, and we were going towards the beach part, like, because I was in middle Bolton Lake. Yeah. And so there's that little private beach. And he was just chugging along. But
you would expect to see a turtle if you're kayaking on the lake.
Yeah.
But you
not with a big giant piece of bloody meat in it, but
but as far as like seeing them just like, it's just weird sometimes. If they're out of place, not where they usually are, I would take note. I would take note.
What about I saw this as a sign, but I forgot the meaning of it now. But years ago, when one of our cousins was getting married, I was driving to the wedding, and there was a big bear just walking right in front of right in front of me. I stopped the car. I'm like, I don't know if this is like deer. Are there going to be more of them coming? I'm like, but please stay away. Like, keep your distance.
Don't put your claws in my car.
Yeah.
So bears are all about protective energy, and like
Okay.
somebody was definitely protecting that energy of going to. Would you say it was a wedding?
Yeah, it was a wedding.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Or Grandpa Bear or Papa Bear.
I could see that.
Mama Bear.
Yeah.
So protective.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating though, because I was just driving along and just walks right in front, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stop the car and pretend like I don't exist right now.
You feel very small when you get next to a big animal.
It's crazy. I've come across bears in the car too, and I've stopped. And I'm like, I'm gonna watch you, but stay way over there.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about bears. We were at this family event on Saturday, and so they live in Southbury, and my brother, and they get bears often in their in their yard. And of course, our visitors up from Georgia, we've never seen it. We'd love to see a bear. And wouldn't you know, my daughter's sitting holding my grandson. She yells out, "Bear!" And she runs into the house. And of course, everyone else that's up from Georgia, they turn and quick, where? And you can see the two bears in the back. They're standing up, so they were all excited that they get to see a bear. It's funny because my cousin's daughter says, I had to come up from Georgia to Connecticut to finally see a bear. I guess they have bears.
I keep driving to Maine and New Hampshire to see a moose, and I've never seen a moosey. I need to get that fulfilled.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
I need to see a moose. I saw one once. It was swimming when I first moved into Coventry.
The moose on the lake?
There was a moose in the lake, and every time it would find a shore to go to, it would get scared, so it would swim to another one, and finally they flushed it out. But like, I've never seen it up close and personal.
Wow.
But yeah, how about other signs?
Well,
pennies. Do you find pennies, coins from heaven?
Yeah, I usually something that's said in our family is we always see a quarter from a loved one. So it's like if you find a quarter, it's like, oh, this is like a sign from them. It's just what our family believes. So yeah, it's either, well, I enjoy pennies as well. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But
and now pennies are gonna, right? Are they gonna just continue pennies?
Yeah.
So if we find pennies, that's even more significant, right?
Definitely hold on to them.
Yeah.
If you want
to. And the idea of finding coins or pennies from heaven as a sign of spirits with you or your loved ones with you, they show up in odd places.
Yes.
So if you normally keep change in a dish by the phone, or that's an old thing, we don't have phones that are sitting on a table anymore, do we? But by your keys, let's say, of course there's going to be coins there, but would a coin be sitting right on the seat of your car when you go out if it wasn't there before? Would a coin be sitting on the counter, let's say, in your bathroom when you go in? So make note of those coins. Or if you ask for signs and coins and you start leaving, you might notice then you see coins that lead the way to your car. That's happened to you.
I do that. I'll go every time I get in my car. I always ask if anybody's watching over me, give me a sign, leave me pennies or coins. And
I need to buy some coffee. No.
Yeah, exactly. I need a cup of coffee. No. And quite often it happens almost pretty on the regular. But one that stands out is when my stepfather passed. I had the intuition like it just happened, but I had to get gas for the truck. And so I went in and paid, and I came out and there was a penny, which was not there prior, because I always look. I had gone in and there was a penny on the ground, and then the phone rang. Wow. And I was like, okay. So that it was a clear sign. Like it wasn't there when I got out of the truck.
Right.
So.
And, we've had people, we've gone on walks and, you're looking for coins as you go, and then you ask for them to have coins on the way back. There's coins that you just passed by and there was nothing there, and all of a sudden it's there. I mean, so
maybe I should be asking for like $100. Hey, could you give me $100 instead of coins?
Dollars from heaven.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take that. I'll take dollars from heaven.
So coins are definitely something, but you got to look for them in odd places.
Yes.
So if they show up in odd places, it's definitely a sign that something's going on. Feathers are another thing too. Feathers are often given to me as something that people should look for. And again, these feathers show up in odd places. Okay, so
other signs.
Another common symbol would be feathers. And again, feathers you're going to find in odd places. And they can be anything from, the crow feather, the turkey feather, the eagle feather, whatever.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Feather. White feathers typically denote angelic presence at times, some people would say. I do know there was a couple experiences I've had with feathers. And it's interesting, often when I give readings and they say, are they giving me any signs? And I'll say, you got to look for the feathers. And all of a sudden, oh my God, they have been showing up all over the place. I thought you were going to say feathers. And it's interesting. The feathers seem to be something that comes through a lot. But I remember when my mother was alive and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And both Heather and I were doing Reiki on her at one point. And when the Reiki session was over, my mother got up and she left. And Heather noticed it first, and then I saw it. Small little white feathers were floating in the air above the Reiki table.
Wow.
Which would denote angelic presence, helping and guiding.
Yeah.
And so, immediately my left brain kicks in. What around me has down in it? Nothing. There's no pillows that we use. There's no jackets in here that would leave a feather. My mother wasn't wearing anything with feathers on it. Nothing.
And it was hot.
They were small little white feathers that were floating above the Reiki table after my mom had left. And, it gives comfort to know that there was guidance and help around, for sure. It's interesting after sometimes I've done readings for people and say, your loved one is going to leave you feathers. And then I'll get affirmations. Oh my gosh, I went out to my car and there was one sitting right on my car seat. There you go. I mean, things like that will happen. So looking for feathers are interesting. So because you have a ton of birds around, you're probably going to see feathers everywhere.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've been intrigued with picking up feathers and looking at them. That's something that our family believes in as well, like feathers for our, from our loved ones and their signs.
Have you found them in odd places?
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, there was one time that I did find one, like, as you're saying, like, in the car. And I was like, where did this come from? So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep it in the car. And, now it is in my car. I just use it, just I feel, like, protected and that I have guidance in the car.
Yeah. So. And you could use that feather, like, if you go somewhere and you feel icky after you come out of that place, that feather will move the energy away from you.
That's a great idea.
Like a smudging kind of move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clearly there to protect you, so use it as a protection as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because I can name several stores coming out, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
You need to wipe that off.
Yeah.
Another common sign would be the interruption of electronic equipment.
Yes,
and this can show up in many fashions: lights flickering, the volume of
the name of our podcast.
What?
Yes.
What's that?
The name of our podcast.
The name of our podcast is a perfect example of how our name was chosen. And, with that electrical equipment constantly telling us ready to connect until we finally decided on that name and then it stopped. Lights flickering are very common to know that energy or loved ones are with you. The lights will flicker. And we'll often get that message is I'll manipulate the light somehow. And the energy of spirit, somehow it's easier for them to manipulate electrical energy. Yeah, in our
previous podcast,
in our bonus content on Patreon, you can see how Gregory manipulated the flashlight, right? To give answers. All kinds of things.
Gregory's also a toucher. Do you feel him
Sometimes.
often? Okay. Yeah.
I have a really interesting story about electronic manipulation that happens all the time in my house, with things manipulating, going on and off, TV channels changing. Back in the day when I had an iPod, now it's just my phone, it would constantly change tracks on me.
Oh, really?
To different music stations. Yep, that kind of thing. But one of the more powerful experiences I had, I was in a morning meditation, and I was really trying to connect with my guides. And, pretty high ascended powerful energy, and I was in meditation, and I was just really feeling the energy of my guides and asking for a sign. And as I sat in meditation, the fireplace face of the fireplace blew away.
Really?
And then all the lights in my kitchen chandelier blew, one bulb after another, pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, okay, I asked for a sign, and now I have to replace all those light bulbs.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Be
mean,
specific in what sign you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
flicker the
exactly.
light. Don't blow out the light bulbs. Flicker the light.
Yes.
You know, and I had to go, fix the fireplace. But
Wow.
it's really kind of interesting. You've had manipulation in your house.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anything like that?
Yes, yeah, a lot of things like that. But I'd say one of the most profound things I've witnessed recently was a while back. I was watching TV and flipping through the channels, and I remember this. I clicked on I had movies playing, and I clicked on the movie. It's probably some movie with like Nicolas Cage in it. I don't know, but anyway, I clicked on it, and then
now we know something else about you, Nicolas Cage fan.
Yeah, and I clicked on it, thinking, oh, okay, like expecting to see that, but then okay, here we're gonna go full circle here from earlier. But then what was on? The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
And I was like, wait a second. But come to find out, that was on a different channel, even though I clicked on that channel. So I was like, okay. But I took it as a sign.
Absolutely.
It was just incredible.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and then my roommate, after her father passed, her and her family experienced something similar where the TV in different rooms, because her mother had this happen and the sister had this happen too. In different rooms, the TV changed the channel to he loved watching Westerns. So it changed the channel to a movie like that.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yep.
yeah.
These are just ways that they let us know they're around.
Yeah.
So if any of our viewers or listeners have had these experiences, just be comforted by the fact that these loved ones are with you. Don't take it as something that's scary.
Yeah. It's also cool. It's
so
incredible
cool.
to see that happen.
Yeah.
Even if you can't place who is watching, like, just, again, I don't think there's a coincidence. So, like, I'm just grateful that someone's watching over me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And it's interesting as I look, and I was just checking the time, and I see the number 1111. It leads me to the last common symbol, which is numbers or repetitive numbers that you might see. So there are some high in numerology. 1111 is seen a lot. That's known as a master number. A lot of repetitive numbers like 444. I know that Heather and I will text each other sometimes, hey, it's 444, which means angels are watching. I think the first time Grandma's hawk showed up, it was 444.
Yeah,
your grandfather does
I have
444
a personalized, 444 is pretty significant. When my grandfather passed, he passed at 444.
Oh, wow.
And the last time I saw my grandfather alive was at 444. And my grandmother had called me at 5 o'clock in the morning to tell me, like, around 4:30-ish.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like she was able to name that. Like, it was actually 444. And I was like, really?
Wow.
So my grandfather's often associated with, for me personally, the 444 angel number that he's watching. And it's really quite interesting how it all kind of correlated with around it. But yeah. So, and there's 222, 333.
Yeah, any of the repetitive numbers.
And it doesn't even have to be a repetitive number.
No,
like, there's an angel book out there that's been written. There's just several different angel books out there. Like, you could just Google spiritual meaning of 9/11. Why did I see the number 9/11 or 320 or 420 or whatever, right? Yeah, so it's cool. Numbers are important too.
A lot of people note the time of things, you know. A lot of people wake up at the same time every night, or they always are whenever they check their watch or their phone for the time, it's always the same time, whether it's 11:20 in the morning or 11:20 at night, it's always 11:20.
Wow.
Or they're out and they see 11:20 on license plates numbers, or, you know, whatever it might be, you know. 1120 is showing up, or 913, or whatever the number is, and they see it a lot on license plates. I had this person I knew that kept seeing the number 8 all the time, no matter where they looked. Always the number 8, 888 everywhere, and 8 was about abundance and change, and you know, interesting to see these numbers that show up. So sometimes those numbers that you see can relate to a date. It can relate to an angel number you can look up for the message.
How about cold spots? Have you ever felt a cold spot? Like, you're just sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel that.
We're going to get to that next week.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
segue.
All right.
That's a good segue, yeah.
So next week we're going to talk about the less common signs of spirit.
Sorry,
and
I jumped the gun.
Yeah. But it's something to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah, something to look forward to. So
in the meantime, everybody can put some comments in.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what
their signs are.
We would love to hear if anyone's ever had those type of signs show up for them. And if you have any questions, definitely hit up our social media for that.
I'd have to say, though, definitely music is intricate for me. Like, I mean, I listen to Spotify, but, like, sometimes it's just no coincidence or random, like, it'll just put a song on. I'm like, I know that's not in my playlist, or, like, I know that's not in this playlist that I'm listening to, and, like, it just... You can tell when someone's thinking about you. Like, it'll come through the music or whatever.
Yeah, that certainly does.
Yeah, do you get that? Do you get music where, like...
Sometimes I'll even get like the thought, "Hey, turn on the radio right now," and I'll turn it on, and it'll be like a message that I need to hear.
Yep.
So
yep.
Absolutely.
It's cool. It's so fascinating. You know, the world is so vast, and we just live in a small little piece of it. You know.
Right.
And we're not mindful sometimes to pay attention to everything around us.
It's true.
So.
All
right. Affirmations.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
This one.
What we got?
I think Gregory's just kind of hanging out today.
I think Gregory's hanging out. I felt a few brushes of across my arm. Nothing malicious, nothing, hurtful or anything. To let us know that he's hanging in this podcast. So.
Alrighty.
Oh, well, this is fun. I pay my bills with gratitude and love, knowing that my needs are abundantly met.
So I should have picked the one because I have to pay bills today.
My tax bills. I do too. I have to pay the taxes.
So mine is so with gratitude, I will pay my bills.
I will pay my bills with gratitude.
With gratitude.
May it come back to us in threefold.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you'll have to make sure that's an option.
Yeah. I have life is a joy and is filled with love. I'll take it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten this one before. I am a magnet for divine prosperity.
Yes, you are.
Have. All right, so all your prosperity will fill me with love and joy, and we'll be able to pay her bills. There we go.
That's
it. Yay, taxes.
Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you.
And in our next podcast, we're going to delve into the less common signs that spirit is with you. And until then, I'm Lisa.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan. Thank you for tuning in to Ready to Connect. If you're interested in exclusive behind-the-scenes content, be sure to like, share, and follow us on social media by searching for Ready to Connect Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And for those looking to further support our podcast, consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/readytoconnectpodcast. And until next time, get ready to connect.